hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have a compilation of 10 of my best easy spring DIYs using items from the Dollar Tree and the Dollar Spot at Target, and I hope I give you some spring inspiration. Okay, let's DIY some fun spring DIYs. The first one is going to be a wall succulent garden using one of these boxes I got on clearance after Christmas at the Target Dollar Spot. If you weren't as lucky to find these, they have them every year, it seems. You could also use like the smaller version available at Dollar Tree, or you could get the individual boxes at the Dollar Tree and just glue them together in any pattern like this you wish, like the 3x2. And we're gonna fill them with succulents. So I'm just going to kind of use whatever floral foam I have left over from other projects from the Dollar Tree to try to fill this up. It doesn't have to be filled up all the way, but I'm going to need enough foam in there to be able to put the succulents in. And so I'm just going to kind of piece together the pieces that I have. You're not going to be able to see them, so it's not going to matter if it looks like a hot mess in there. And then I gathered all my succulents I've used in previous DIYs or that I had laying around from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make a succulent wall garden. Now, since it's going to be hanging on the wall, I don't want these falling out, so just securing all of the foam to the back of the box. And then we can start filling this with succulents. Now I have like succulents in pots from the Dollar Tree. I have the succulent stems. I have some that are in like glass sand jars. I have like, basically I went and grabbed all my succulents. I always save them after DIYs or tier trays and stuff like that. So this is a great use for them. Now, since it's going to hang on the wall, I need a hanger. And so I'm going to use one of these these are the sawtooth hangers that have the nails already attached. My absolute favorite. I think I got these at, I don't know, Home Depot or Walmart. Probably need to pick some more up because they're so easy. Just nail it right in there, and now we have a hanging shelf. The Christmas trees part is on the top of the sign, luckily, so I don't have to worry about painting the sides or anything like that. You're not going to be able to see it when I hang this up on the wall. Now, these blue ones, the blue succulents from the Dollar Tree, are my favorite. The stems are a little too long, so I'm just cutting those down with some floral scissors from the Dollar Tree, kind of spreading those out. But I do want like a variety of colors, so I'm going to mix like yellows, browns, greens. I'm going to try to make it as colorful as I can for spring. I kind of want them to look like flowers, but a different kind of a flower thing. Now, if you wanted to get real ambitious, you could do this with real succulents, and that would be great for like a spring porch DIY or patio. That'd be so cute. So this is about the level of plant that I can keep alive, which I can't keep any plant alive. Now, some of these didn't have stems, so I'm just kind of mixing and matching, and we're going to make this work one way or another. I want like at least 2 in each box. We can fill in the rest of that later, but I want the box to be as full as I can, and I really love the variety of the succulents and the different colors. Just for a little variety, I'm going to put 3 in that one, and just waiting for the glue to dry on this stem, we can put that in there. Some of these succulents I've had forever. I had to glue them back together just because they were falling apart. And then to cover up all the mess that you can see, I'm just going to use some Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree, just hot gluing that to the foam that is exposed, and that's going to give it a beautiful finished look for our little wall succulent garden. Isn't this cute? This was so fun to put together, and I just love how it turned out. Just making sure I have enough. I don't want to see any of the foam. And I think I got it pretty full. What do you think? And this is how it looks hanging on my wall for spring. I did a display at my entryway, and this was hanging front and center above my console table. Okay, are you ready for another spring DIY? I thought we could use these adorable little chunky, I guess they're called breadboards, from the Dollar Tree, and 3 of the little Dollar Tree wood signs and a plunger handle. And I thought we could build a toolbox that we could fill with flowers for spring. I've seen some really pretty flowers in toolboxes and I thought, you know, that'd be really kind of fun to try to make. But I've actually seen these for sale at the Target Dollar Spot since I made this. So you could cheat, I guess, but it was really kind of fun to put this together. Now, the plunger handle is a great dowel for $1.25. The only challenging part is getting that sticky sticker off. So I'm just going to use some heat and a blade, and we're just going to scrape that off. Now, since all of this is going to be raw wood, you could like stain this. Probably do it now if you're going to stain it or use Antique Wax by Waverly. I'm going to paint mine, or you could leave it natural wood. It's really pretty. But that is the advantage of using all of this real wood stuff. And I love how much wood stuff they have at the Crafter Square anymore. They're really bringing it for us crafters, and I appreciate it. Dollar Tree, I see ya. So I'm just going to remove the hangers from these 3 signs. They make those signs in 2 different sizes. I think that this is the smaller one. It's a perfect size for this DIY. I need one for the bottom and then one for each side. I'm just going to stand the little breadboards up like that, and it's going to make the perfect sides for a little toolbox. Now I'm just using Gorilla Glue hot glue. I find that it works really good for wood. You could always use wood glue if you'd like, or you could even nail or screw this together if you wanted yours to be really heavy duty. But we're just going to use hot glue here. And so I just try to keep that as square as I can. And just trying to clean up this second one. We're going to do the same thing here on the other side. And can you kind of see how it's coming together? These are like the sides of the toolbox. And then I'm going to put another sign on the front and the back, and the plunger handle is going to be the handle for the toolbox. It's kind of a small one, but it was perfect for what I needed in my entryway. So I'm just kind of making sure everything looks square, and then we can go ahead and start attaching the side. Now, it's not quite as long as the sides as that breadboard. Just trying to decide exactly where I want it. It's okay if there's a little gap at the bottom, because I'm not going to be putting any dirt or anything in there. If you were, you would probably want it to be a little bit more secure there. But I'm just going to hot glue that to this breadboard side, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other. I'm not going to worry about the holes in this side. It's just going to add a little bit more character to the toolbox. And if you wanted, you could even probably put nails in those. So that looks pretty good. So now once the glue dries, we can just flip this over and do the same thing on the other side with that third sign. Now I discovered it'd probably be easier just to put the hot glue on the sides of the breadboard, but don't do like I did, because I put way too much. I forgot that it was taller. So I'm just trying to clean that up while this is drying. And we have pretty much the main structure of the toolbox built like that. Now it is time for the handle. I'm going to use the plunger handle, and the only thing I'm going to need to do is figure out how long it needs to be. Now, if I were smart, I would measure, but you know, I never measure. So I'm like, oh, I'll just put this on here. I'll just draw a line with my pen. I'm going to take it to my saw. I'm going to cut it. It's going to be perfect. But I should have measured, because look, it was a little bit too short. Now, if I wanted to use screws on the end, I could have probably made it work, but I just cut off another sliver of that, and we're just going to patch it and pretend like I measured. Too busy crafting to measure, you know? So once I get it painted, you'll never know that I did that. So I'm going to try it on now to see if it fits. And it fits like a glove. Now I do want that to be glued in, so I'm going to take it out and just put a dot of hot glue on each side and put it back in there before the hot glue sets up. And there is our little toolbox for flowers. My plan is to fill this with tulips for spring, and I think it looks really pretty. I told you guys before that I was going to paint it. I'm going to display this on a blue table in my entryway, so I'm going to do ivory and kind of make it look coastal and distressed in the process. And hey, I have a plunger laying around, so I might as well use it. Works great for holding paint. So we're going to use just ivory acrylic paint and a brush. Basically, I'm going to paint anything that's going to be visible, the handles, the sides, even like the tops of the signs there on the sides, anything that you're going to be able to see. But otherwise, I'm not going to paint the inside and stuff like that, because why paint it if you're not going to be able to see it? So just painting this all over. And again, I think this would be really pretty if you wanted to stain it or something like that too, because you'd bring out all that beautiful wood grain in the wood as well. Just kind of doing a rough and dirty coastal coat. It's okay if some of the wood shows, because I'm going to distress it anyway. You know me. So just making sure I have a pretty good coverage. I also sanded down a little bit just because the breadboard was cut a little rough and the signs were cut a little rough in some areas. Just trying to clean it up a little bit. And I like to sand to distress anyway, so we're just going to kind of sand all over. Until it looks a little bit cleaner. And it also gives it a nice light distress on that paint. Now I do want to distress it further, so I'm also going to use some Antique Wax by Waverly and like a little chippy brush from the Dollar Tree, and just working in one direction. I'm going to distress, going over with a baby wipe to kind of remove the excess. I just want a light distress, especially around like the edges, kind of any details. That really gives me that coastal vibe or feel. To the ivory, if you feel like you use too much, you can always go back with your original color and distress it some more. And then I'm also going to do the same thing on each side of our toolbox. Now I'm going to use fake flowers for this, so I'm going to use a floral foam inside. I found some really beautiful tulips at the Target dollar spot, and I thought they'd be perfect for this. So using some Dollar Tree foam, we're going to try to fill this up. It was a little bit bigger than my foam, but that's okay. We will just kind of piece this together with one of the skinnier blocks, just cutting that down to size. We're going to make this work. I love this floral foam from the Dollar Tree because it's so easy to cut. And you know, you can make about anything with it. I've even made buoys out of this floral foam just because it's so easy to carve. Okay, I thought this would be a good time to use some reindeer moss to line the top of it. That way I don't have to go back and try to fill this in after I put the tulips in there. So just kind of doing a layer of reindeer moss all over. This older gentleman at the Dollar Tree had to tell me a joke when I bought my reindeer moss there the other day. He said, "Do you know how fast those reindeer are? We have to like try to catch those to get the moss off of them." I gave him a cute little ha-ha. Now these are the tulips that I found at the Target dollar spot. I love the colors and I think they're going to be perfect. I love that there's blue ones, and they're prettier than anything that I've seen at the Dollar Tree, because I've never really seen like a pretty tulip at the Dollar Tree. Post in the comments below if you have. Maybe I've just been unlucky. But I really wanted tulips for this. I thought that would be perfect. So I'm just kind of trying to space them out evenly, alternating the colors up like that. Now, I didn't want it to look like too symmetrical, so the other ones I'm going to kind of go in and try to like put them in the gaps in between the ones on the other row, the back row, just for a little variety. So about halfway in between, I'm going to put one just to stagger them a little bit. Just kind of mixing the colors up. So I'm going to use like one less on this side because I did that, but I like the variety of it. And that's it, our little spring toolbox filled with tulips. I love this DIY for spring, and I hope you do too. Now I'm just putting a little bit more reindeer moss in there just to make it look super full. And this is how it turned out. Isn't it pretty? I also used like a lot of plants that I had from the Dollar Tree and Target, and kind of did a lot of plants in my entryway as well. Okay, next DIY. This is a shelf I got at the Target dollar spot for $5. You can kind of work with whatever you have. The thing I liked about this is that it was simple and it had the little pegs that I want to use for this DIY. It's also got a shelf so I can put some springy stuff up there as well. And it's this beautiful raw wood, but I wanted to kind of coordinate with that like toolbox that we just made. And so we're going to paint it ivory. So just using ivory acrylic, we're going to go over this entire shelf and paint it. Now, if you couldn't find this and you wanted to build it, I think it would be really easy. You could use like 2 pieces of craft wood from the Dollar Tree, gluing or screwing those together just in an L shape. And then you could use little dowels for the pegs. It'd be super easy to recreate, but if you can find it for $5, I would say invest. And so I'm just going over the top of the shelf, anywhere you're going to be able to see. Then I'm going to go over and sand it a little bit as well, just to kind of rough it up and give it that coastal feel again. Basically, I want like the same distressing on this one that we did on the first one. So again, chippy brush, Antique Wax by Waverly. I like to try to work in one direction, lightly distressing, sometimes heavily distressing, but if you use a baby wipe and you're quick, you can kind of rub that all in and forgive any errors. And you can always go back in with your original color of paint and distress as well. I'm going to use that to distress all over to kind of give it a uniform coastal appearance. And even though you're probably not going to be able to see it, I'm going to go ahead and do the top of the shelf as well, in case, I ever use the shelf somewhere where you might be able to see it up there as well. And what I wanted to do with this is I thought I could put some plants and like, I found this great little spring artwork at the Target dollar spot, but I wanted to look like I had flowers being dried, hanging from the pegs. And so this is the greenery that I found from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to kind of mix up different colors, purples, yellows. But I love this like frosty look to the leaves. I think that kind of makes them look like they're dried out. And then to make them look like they're tied up, I am just going to go with jute twine from the Dollar Tree and wind that around them. That's also going to serve as a hanger, and then cut off the end using some wire scissors, trying to get through that. That was kind of tough. And making it a little longer than it needs to be. And then I'm just going to make a little loop so I can have a hanger, and then wrap that around, and I'm going to tie that off. That way it's going to look like I'm drying flowers on the wall. I thought that would look really fun for spring. And these little flowers from the Dollar Tree is definitely a cheap, economical way to get that look. So that is how I have it all tied up. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing with the other one. I'm just using that real tiny twine from the Dollar Tree. You could always use something thicker and you might not have to go around as many times, but then making a loop and tying that off. Super easy. And then just removing the end. I found that my floral scissors didn't work as well as like my heavy KitchenAid scissors on that stem. And then we're going to do the same thing here with flower number 3, since we had 3 pegs on there. Just trying to make them all about the same height with their little loops. Tying and trimming and cutting off the stem. Couldn't be any easier, and this turned out so cute. So this is how it looks in my entryway. Our little flowers being dried on the wall. Super cute. Now this isn't a DIY, but this is a cute little spring sign that I found at the Target dollar spot. And I love it because it had a special message for me, because my son used to always love dandelions and be like, flowers, look at all the flowers when they would bloom back when we lived in the Midwest. So I thought that was a really funny saying. May all your weeds be wildflowers. I'm going to use that up on that little shelf that we just made, along with some plants that I got at the Target dollar spot as well. This isn't a DIY either, but I thought I would just show it to you. I got this at the Target dollar spot, and I'm going to use this for that decor as well. It's a beautiful blue and ivory birdhouse. I don't really like the look of the chain on it though, so I'm just going to remove that. I don't really have a bird or anything to put in this, so I'm just going to use some Spanish moss, kind of fill that up, kind of make it look like there's a bird nest in there. And then just replace the little hanging chain on the top. And I thought this would go great with all of these DIYs that I'm making for spring for my entryway. So just tucking that in there. It's okay if a little bit sticks out. Just gonna make it look super cute. And how cute is that birdhouse? I love the Target dollar spot when I can actually find stuff. Mine has been lacking lately. They have all the Valentine's Day stuff now when it's a little too late. So I'm just going to replace that hanger at the top with some of this thicker twine. This is the kind that you get at Walmart. And I'm just going to tie a simple little loop. I thought that looked a little bit more like coastal vibes than the chain. A little prettier. And then I'm just going to burn off the fuzzies with a lighter, because sometimes that twine from Walmart is pretty rough. Not really counting this as a DIY, but I thought I would show you because you're going to see it here. I also thrift flipped that great cathedral window that you can kind of see behind it. I got that at Goodwill. So pretty. Okay, the next step, we're going to use a Dollar Tree calendar. And then I got a wood slice sign at Goodwill. Somebody had done like a wood carving on it. And I just have to remove the sticker. I went ahead and started painting on there because there was a name on there. But basically, I want to cover up any of the writing and etching that was on here, so I'll have a nice flat surface to use the calendar page to make a spring wall hanging. I did have to use a little spackle because they did like kind of carve their initials in the back. But I have the perfect calendar page for this. Look at this cute little spring bicycle. I think it's going to fit on there perfectly. We're not going to do the words or anything. We're just going to go with the bike. I'm just doing a rough sketch around that first. And then cutting it inside that, kind of where I think it's going to need to be. It's not a perfect oval, but we can always like kind of patch the bottom in. But I think I did a pretty good job of cutting that down to size. And isn't that a beautiful print for spring? I love using Dollar Tree calendars. Now I didn't want like some of it to be white behind it and it to look different, because you know the calendar pages from the Dollar Tree are thin. So I just went ahead with white acrylic and just going to go over the entire thing. If you didn't have writing on there or etching, you probably wouldn't need to do that step. And then I'm going to attach a hanger to the back, leaving the little, you know, pretty carving on the back as well. And to attach the calendar page to the wood slice, we're just going to use a thin layer of Mod Podge. Couldn't be any easier. And I love bicycles for spring. We're going to have another bicycle here in a minute. I always think that's so fun for spring. And the blue bicycle goes with my decor, pink flowers, perfect color combination. Just using my little roller for my Cricut to get that down smooth. And then I'm going to go over it with another coat of Mod Podge and give that a quick dry. Now, as you can see on the bottom, my image was not quite long enough to get in a complete oval because I was trying to cut off the words. So to patch that little area, I thought we could just do a very quick, easy little expo using Dollar Tree ribbon, the burlap. I got this cute little pastel plaid. I thought that'd be cute as well. And then I thought maybe, you know, actually some burlap, just cutting it in half to make it a little thinner. And kind of mixing that up, sandwiching that in between. And just using a zip tie, and we're going to have a super easy little expo. Couldn't be easier, and it's going to be the perfect thing down here. I also thought we could bring in some of those little pink flowers that you see there to kind of decorate that as well. Just gluing that down to the middle. Super cute, and I think it kind of needed a bow or something as well. Then I decided that, you know, my expo was probably way too big, so just going to trim it down now. It's better to make it too big, and you can trim it than making it too small, I guess. Just kind of doing all the cuts at an angle, trying to arrange it until it looks good. And then these little pink flowers, I love these. They're called wildflowers. I thought these would be perfect. They're going to kind of coordinate with the pink flowers in the basket of that bicycle. And we're just going to kind of work them into our little expo. And this was such an easy DIY, and it looks so pretty for spring. I think that's the perfect dose of color and flowers. Super cute. Now, you know, I have to distress it just because I distress everything. So I'm using a chippy brush and some ivory paint and distressing it. I find that it made it look less like paper and more like a hand painting. And this is how it looks hanging on my wall for spring. It's so pretty. And I actually just hung a Dollar Tree pink flower next to it just for fun. Now, this is a welcome spring sign from the Dollar Tree. And honestly, it's perfect. I'm just going to make a frame with some of this brown rope from the Dollar Tree. Just because I like a little bit of a thicker sign, and the Dollar Tree signs are kind of thin and cheap. And I think the rope's going to go well with spring, so that's what we're going to do. I love the little blue truck on there. I love that it says welcome spring, and it's got the pink flowers. It's already got a hanger on it. So these are going to be really quick, easy spring DIYs on the rest of the way out, just to let you know. Super easy. No building anything, like a toolbox. So using that same rope, we're going to go all the way around here, just doing a thin bead of hot glue. And I love framing things out with rope. I just did this on my other spring video with the wood rounds. And finishing it off here. And securing the corner. Now, you know I don't like glitter that much. And so I'm going to try to tone it down with the little matte Mod Podge just to make me feel better. And then I don't really like the hanger the way it was on there because I find that the Dollar Tree signs don't hang very flat to the wall. I like to tie them off in front. So just using some Dollar Tree twine, I'm just going to replace it, tying the knots in front so it will hang nice and flat against my wall. And I don't know, this was so easy. I don't know if I would even consider this a DIY. I guess it is because we did add a rope border. And then I'm just going to go around with my lighter and burn off all the fuzzies. And this is how it looks hanging on my wall for spring. Loving the colors for spring. So pretty. And I love that little blue truck. How cute is that? Okay, next up, we're going to use one of these little pink purses, spring purses from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we could make like a little wreath basket out of this. I love the fact that it kind of looks like a seagrass material, but it's pink. Just removing the little flower that's on there, trying not to cause any damage. I'm also going to remove the straps because I don't want it to look like a purse. I want it to look like a basket hanging on the wall. Now I'm going to remove the tag, and the only thing I don't like is see how flat it is? I'm like, that's not going to look very good. I want a way to open it up. So I thought if I use some of these Dollar Tree rulers, I could add just a little bit of structure to the side to make it like kind of stay open, if you know what I mean. So I'm just kind of measuring to see how tall I need that. And I'm going to cut that ruler down into 2 pieces, 1 for each side. Then using hot glue, I'm going to go in and secure that to the sides. It's going to make this purse stay open, more like a little basket that we can fill with flowers for spring. Now, this part, gluing it in, was a little tricky. I definitely had to hold it in place until it was dry. But it definitely gave me more shape to the basket for sure. Now I'm going to fill the inside of the basket with just some floral foam from the Dollar Tree. Just cutting it down to size. Didn't need it to be quite as big as it is. Something that we can arrange Dollar Tree flowers in to decorate that. I'm going to also use some of that reindeer moss to cover that up so you don't see any of the floral foam. Super easy. And then for a handle, I still need a handle to hang it with. I'm using just some Dollar Tree rope. This is the same rope that we used to frame the sign. And just gluing it to the ruler, so the rulers actually came in handy. And that's going to make the perfect hanger to hang it on the wall. The next step is that we want to fill this in with flowers for spring. So I really kind of wanted to go with smaller flowers. I found these larkspur. They're a beautiful color of blue. And I'm just going to start cutting these apart and arranging these. I want like lots of colors. I want it to look kind of like wildflowers, like somebody has been out picking flowers for spring. I really like those. Those are probably my favorite ones that I used in that. I love how they have the little sprigs coming out of them. And then we're just going to keep building. These are kind of more fall color, but I kind of wanted to see how it looked with like the yellow flowers. So this is probably the most time-consuming part of this project. It's just arranging your flowers, trying to find what colors like look good together. Definitely wanted to bring in some of the pink. Sometimes I struggle to find the small flowers like this at the Dollar Tree, but I always try to pick them up when I see them because they work great for smaller DIYs like this one. So we're trying just about anything I can find in my flower stash that looks springy. I decided to go back and replace those original yellow ones with these because I thought they looked really beautiful for spring. And then I'm also going to add some Dollar Tree greenery just to give it a little bit more filler. And it's definitely looking full. I think it's definitely looking springy. And I love the little pink basket as well. Super cute and super inexpensive. I told you we were going to have another bicycle. This is actually a Christmas ornament that I got on clearance at the Target dollar spot. And it's a little blue bicycle, so it's going to be the perfect touch. I know this one's going to be kind of a hard to match, but I kind of wanted to show you how I used it on there because I thought it would be cute. And I put this away just for spring and just kind of putting the little pedal of the bicycle in there. I always love to get Christmas ornaments on clearance, especially stuff like this that you can use for any season. And you know, my Dollar Trees had all their ornaments on clearance this year as well. And this is how it turned out. Our little basket full of wildflowers for spring with a little rope handle and finished off with a little blue bicycle hanging on the same wall as that other bicycle print. So, hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about my Facebook group. I have a link below also to my Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. I'm on all of them. And Crafty Beach on YouTube is my handle on everything. And I'd love to see you in our private Facebook group as well. I love to see what you guys are crafting. You guys are so creative. Okay, next DIY, we're going to use one of these wood flowers from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree and this beautiful bandana that I found at the Dollar Tree. You guys know that I'm always searching for different fabrics to use at the Dollar Tree, so a bandana is perfect for this, perfect size. Now, it was kind of thin, and I didn't really want the wood to show through. That's the only reason that I painted that white first, but that's why I did it. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing with a thick layer of matte Mod Podge, and then we're just going to lay this beautiful bandana on it. I want it to be like a flower print flower, if you will. And I'm just using my brayer to roll that down and kind of cutting off the excess. I kind of want to cut off like the pink border. I only want that beautiful floral print. Going over the top of it with more Mod Podge to make sure it's good and secure. And you could cut this down to size first if you wanted to. I'm cutting mine after I let it dry. I'm just using some fabric scissors and trying to get as close to the edges as possible. I thought that if I cut it before, it was going to be really hard to get it all lined up perfectly on there. I don't want any of the wood showing from the original sign. So just really sharp scissors and just cutting just as close as you can to the edge. And I love the colors on this fabric. And they have some different spring fabrics as well. I used one the other day with the pink and the blues. That would be really pretty as well. But always check your bandanas and scarves and stuff like that too. Sometimes the scarves are too skinny, but just using my sanding block to kind of finish off the edges and get any kind of strings off. Then I just need some burlap for the center of the flower. So I just had a scrap piece of burlap sitting around, just using the bottom of a bucket just because I needed a circle to cut out a perfect little circle. And we're just going to cut that out for the middle of our flower. Now, the only problem with that is the burlap. You can see through it, of course, and you can kind of see that print through it. So I do have some white fabric from the Dollar Tree. You can always double up your burlap as well. But what I'm going to do is just Mod Podge that scrap fabric onto the back. That way you won't be able to see it through. Covering the burlap with some Mod Podge as well. Drying that, and then we'll just cut that circle out again. That way I'll have a beautiful burlap circle from the middle of my flower. But you won't be able to see that pattern through there. It's just going to make it look a little bit more professional. Cutting a round circle is just the challenging part. So just kind of lining that up in the center of the flower and hot gluing that on. Super cute. I just thought it needed a center to the flower, something to break it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to poke a hole through the fabric and use some Dollar Tree twine to make a new hanger. I told you these were going to be easy, right? And how cute is that little spring DIY? I love it so far. Okay, I wanted to frame it out though, you know, just because Dollar Tree thin signs drives me crazy. I'm just using that thick twine from Walmart and hot glue, and we are just going to border it out. I thought that would be a nice touch. It's going to kind of go with the rope border on that truck sign that we did, and it's going to kind of match that burlap in the middle. Just give it a little finished edge. This step though, totally optional. Now, I think they have maybe this shape in the galvanized metal as well. And you could use that too if you can't find the wood one. So it's all framed out, and this is how it looks on my wall. I have it hanging next to that little truck sign underneath a flower, and I love the colors in that bandana. Aren't they pretty? Okay, next find. Target dollar spot, a blue watering can. How cute is this watering can? It's perfect for my coastal decor, and I thought we could just fill it with flowers for spring, and I love the fact that it's made out of metal. Now I'm trying to figure out how I can use like one of these little round floral foams from the Dollar Tree. I did have to put a little wood block in there to kind of get it tall enough to sit up there, and then just use some reindeer moss on top, and we can start filling this water can for flowers. Now, if you watched my spring DIY the other day, I did something similar with the Dollar Tree watering can. It's plastic, and so kind of had to rough that one up to make it look a little bit weathered, less like plastic. But this metal one, perfect. Love it for spring. Just trying to mix up colors, trying to do some contrasting colors. So pinks and whites and like aqua colors I thought would be really pretty in this. And just cutting these apart, alternating them in there, just putting those down into the floral foam. Couldn't be any easier. And it's all removable. You can always use this watering can for its original intent before, after you're done with your DIY. And I thought some of this larkspur would be really pretty in there as well, that we used on the basket. I've really loved the long wispy feel of that one. And it's going to tie it into those flowers on the wall. And then I had a snail on one side, but I kind of wanted like a flowery spring thing. And so I thought we could just use one of these little stickers from the Dollar Tree, a little pink flower, and put that on the front of our watering can. And we have another easy spring DIY for you. And this is how it looks. I just displayed it on a shelf here so that you could see it. And I think it's so cute and fun. Okay, the next two DIYs here, I'm going to use one of these little hanging spring signs from the Dollar Tree, and then two of these little signs from just home decor at the Dollar Tree. I chose those because they had the pink floral print around the edges, and I thought we could keep that. I love that. Now, at first I was going to do two watering cans, but I decided to mix it up and use one watering can and one pink flower, just to kind of break it up a little bit. Now, there was like an oval on each sign that says choose your dreams. And so I don't want any of that oval to be visible. So I'm just going to use some scrap burlap and kind of cover the inside of it with the burlap just to cover that white part up. And then we can layer the Dollar Tree wood signs on top of that. So easy peasy. We're just going to Mod Podge this burlap down to the sign. I love the pink flower print on the sides and around the edges. Just Mod Podging that down, giving that a quick dry, and then we can attach that Dollar Tree sign. It's pink, it's so cute. But I thought I might as well cut out burlap for the second one while I have it. That way they can make them symmetrical and kind of the same size. So I just cut out a second one. And then we're just going to Mod Podge that on there. I didn't worry about painting over the words. I don't think you're going to be able to see the words at all with those signs on top of it. Just trying to cover up that oval part. And this also adds just a little bit of texture. And, you know, we use burlap on that flower, so it kind of ties it in with that as well. Now, you know, I don't really like glitter for most projects, and Dollar Tree loves their glitter. So just toning it down a little bit with some matte Mod Podge. Just my personal preference. But these are really cute, and they're the perfect size, I think, for these little signs. I can kind of group these together in an arrangement on my wall, and I'm just going to go ahead and attach the little watering can with hot glue. It's okay if it overlaps the sides a little bit. It gives it a little bit more character. And then on the other one, I'm going to do a pink flower, trying to decide which way it looks best. I think it looks better that way. And hot gluing that one down. And we have some more spring signs for the wall. Gonna hang these with the basket, that flower that we made, the little bike sign, all of this together. And a nice little display for spring. But you could also use these for a tier tray. That'd be super cute. And they're just the right size for that. And they're a boxy sign, so they'd probably stand up. Okay, guys, are you ready for the final reveal? Thank you for watching these 10 easy spring DIYs. I hope you enjoyed, and there's a little peek at that cathedral window that I thrift flipped, and this is how it all looks together.
When lights go out, you're in my mind. I close my eyes, so it's just you and I. aligned, we will dance in the meadow on our favorite place when spring is coming. Where are you now? I hope you're fine, but I won't lie, I still miss you so much. But I don't hold grudge. You had to go. I will save you a space for a dance in the meadow on our favorite place when spring is coming. You're like a flower, you've always loved them. When winter comes, you go. Why is it so?
Thank you so much to all the Crafty Beach Bums that sent me super thanks, super chats. Some of you have even cash at me or bought me a coffee. I really appreciate you all. You really help keep this channel going. And if you would like more Crafty Beach, YouTube thinks that you might enjoy this video right here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment your favorite DIY below, or just come say hello. And don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 12,000 subscribers, and we're really close. Until next time, let's think spring vibes.